Drink.
Oh, thank you.
It's hot.
It's cold.
No,
What's
the
the
weather is
temperature?
hot.
Yeah, it's warm in here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's ready to warm up. Okay.
Okay.
You can start taking
הבאתי לך, רגע, רק אני אתן לך את התאריכים, הבאתי לך. ככה, תתפונת קטנה, אני שמה לך פה.
Okay. For me, it's okay.
Okay. You know, tomorrow it's Yom Kippur.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just get it recorded. Okay. How was Yom Kippur in Kenosha?
Yeah. It's delicious food.
Oh, really? Yeah?
No.
What kind of food?
He's
No.
joking.
Yeah.
We're festive.
Yeah. No, but before.
For
You told me you ate the filter fish.
filter fish.
Right.
and chunks of meat, you know, good
Yeah.
kosher meat. Yeah.
Did you go to shul during the day?
Of course.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
And you pray and you...
Afraid I conduct the services
you conducted the service.
myself,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Uh-huh.
for quite a long time.
For how many years?
A few years.
Few years?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it was okay to fast?
Well,
It wasn't too hard,
no, it wasn't.
too difficult?
No,
Okay.
but okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Last, I want to ask you today about your life, you know, in Kenosha
Uh-huh.
when you had two daughters.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about their childhood and how much were you involved in their lives? Can you tell me about it?
Well, we tried to get them to grow up Jewish.
Okay.
Yeah. They went to shul, to the services.
Regularly? Regularly? They went to shul on holidays?
We used to walk there for the different holidays from the house.
What about Shabbat? Did you go to shul in Shabbat?
I went, yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
And what about the girls?
Well, but they went to school and they went to...
Maybe later.
No,
Used to
they-
work on Saturdays. The store was open on Saturdays.
It was?
The store was open on Saturdays.
So,
He didn't work. He didn't go to the synagogue.
Okay.
But later, after he retired, he would go.
Every Shabbat. Okay. So you used to work on Saturdays in Kenosha?
We used to work.
Yeah. The store was open
No.
on Shabbat?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Not always, no.
Once in a while it was open and
It was closed
most of the
most
time?
yeah.
Mhm.
And we would advertise closed on the Jewish holiday.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And in Rosh Hashanah and Sukkot, it was closed? The store?
Yeah.
It was closed?
Uh-huh.
You close it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Did in any time the girls, Marsha and Natalie, did they ever come to the store and help you out? Help you in the store? You remember?
Well, I didn't need much of their help because we had a bookkeeper in the office to do the bookkeeping, to keep track of things. And when I talked to customers, I talked, but they were there. if they would socialize with the people that would come in.
Who? The
No,
girls?
The girls, yeah.
They came to the store
Yeah, they came once in a while.
once in a while.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. They felt very comfortable, you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How much were you involved in their, growing up? How much were you involved in their, growing up?
And growing up,
Yes, yes.
uh-huh.
How much were you involved? Did you know where do they go? Who do they meet? If they have problems in school,
I
did
was
you know
always,
all?
yeah, I was always involved. Yeah,
Lenore, told you
yeah.
everything. Yeah.
But the camp especially, they went to the reform movement camp, and
On summers, in the
summer,
summer.
yeah, I would go and visit there and talk to the leaders, you know, the people that were leading the group.
What did you talk with them about?
Well, about Israel, about Jewishness. Basically, that was my job to talk about to survive as Jews. Yeah,
Okay. So you talk what with the leaders?
with
What would you?
with the leaders of the group. Yeah, yeah. They were very they were educated and always nice. You know. Yeah.
Did you ever go to Marshall's school or Natalie's school?
Yeah,
Talk to the teachers.
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
You remember?
Sure, I think so.
What kind of students were they? I mean, you were good pupils.
Yeah,
Yeah,
usually they were, yeah, friendly.
they were friendly.
Yeah, because when I reported about my life in Kenosha,
Uh huh.
it sounded like it was very educational and respectful. The children respected me, they respected my family.
The children from what? Marshall School, you mean?
Well, in
Or
general,
okay.
the non-Jewish people in Kenosha, they knew we were Jewish because we always advertised closed for the Jewish holidays.
Hmm.
You know, the store was closed. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. Yeah.
Did Masha have a lot of friends? Do you know about
Yeah.
it? Her social
Well,
life?
she met other Jewish girls her age, especially from the Reform
Movement?
movement. Yeah,
Hmm.
because the Orthodox didn't have any girls. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
No, they were comfortable. They would walk with me to shul
Oh, really?
on a Saturday morning or on a holiday. Yeah.
Okay.
They knew they were Jewish and I knew I was Jewish. Yeah.
And also the neighbors knew you were Jewish.
Yeah. But they were all very friendly. Even up to today, they still sending greetings, greeting cards
Oh, really?
for the Jewish holidays. Yeah. No, they were like a part of family. See, it's hard to believe, but I made friends with them, and they were friendly to me, and it was a nice neighborhood, and I didn't have any problem because they were not Jewish. I could talk about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, with them. Yeah.
You, they didn't try to I don't know, talk with you about politics, about Judaism, what they think about Israel. Did you ever
Yeah,
have talks about?
they talked about
They
it.
did.
Yeah, because I used to get the Jewish newspaper, the forwards,
Yeah.
and I would get Israeli newspapers. So I was always informed, and also I had family in Israel, yeah, and some made Aliyah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
one of the uncles made Aliyah. He had a good job making the upper part of the shoe. He worked for my uncle, and my uncle had a working shop in his house. He had a very nice apartment. He was one of the few that had it all specially decorated by Israeli. Yeah.
Israeli.
What?
It was
I
decorated.
mean, they were Jewish, but they came to Israel and they did some of that work
Ah,
for Israelis.
okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they were very much Jewish, So we belonged to the Orthodox community.
You belong to the Orthodox community,
Yeah.
yeah? But you said that Marsha and Natalie went to the Reform movement.
Well, she was in both of them. The Reform would do certain things that the Orthodox didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Reform had a summer camp from the Chicago area, and she got along with everybody. They used to advertise on television the Reform movement.
Mm.
Yeah, there was no problem between the Reform
Yeah.
and the Orthodox.
There was no any, I don't know, bad feelings between the Orthodox and the Reforms.
No,
No.
because I knew that my daughters are not from the same background as I was. I used to be in a cradle, and the teacher, a Jewish teacher, would come to visit me, and they would say, "Now you can rock the cradle," you know. And I would go to this place. It wasn't a very fancy place, but we learned the olive base,
Uh-huh.
you know.
Uh-huh.
We learned everything about Judaism. It was very much like in Europe. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I used to sit next to the Malamed. You know the Malamed?
When you was a little boy.
The
When you
what?
were when you were a little boy.
Well, yeah.
Younger.
Yeah. They would come to the house and visit. And no, there was a good relationship. And then, of course, we tried to be friendly with the Reform. Yeah, because I realized that the children have to learn more English, and they did, and they enjoyed it.
Do you remember any incident, not pleasant incident, bad one? I don't know, during the time you were in Kenosha with the neighbors, with the people in the synagogue. Do you remember any situation that you know, wasn't good, was a bad one?
Never.
Never.
Always respectful
Also in your,
on both sides.
as an owner of the store,
Yeah.
also. Huh?
always respectful
Mhm.
and always pleasant. Because when I was sitting down with customers, usually they were women, and I would talk about my life, like I'm talking to you, and they enjoyed listening, because my stories were positive, not negative.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told them all the nice things before Kenosha in Romanov.
Yeah.
We had four Jewish synagogues.
Yes.
In,
You told
in,
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, we were allowed, see, like the mayor of the city would come for Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur.
What city? Kenosha?
Yeah, they would come to during the service.
Really?
Yeah, and with greetings. So,
To give respect to the Jewish people.
yeah,
Okay.
because there were several Jewish people that were part of the government
Oh, okay.
in town.
Okay.
Yeah, and, and, and they were respectful in the business, some of them wholesalers, because they were serving not just the town, they were serving the, the whole area, non Jewish.
Yes.
They were buying most of the Jewish food or any food, flour, sugar.
Mm-hmm.
It was mostly in Jewish hands.
Oh,
Yeah, the stores.
they came to the Jewish stores
They came to the Jews
because why
because
especially the Jewish
it was
stores?
available. The food.
What do you mean it was available? There were other stores in the
Yeah,
city?
no, the majority was Jewish.
Oh, really?
The majority in town, in the business, were Jewish.
Really?
Yeah, mostly not just retail,
Uh-huh.
also wholesale to the neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
Other stores in the neighborhood they would come and, and deal with the Jewish stores. Yeah,
Mhm.
because they had to buy kerosene and other sugar, other. They knew how to import things.
Oh. So what you're saying is that the Jewish people in Kenosha, most of them were businessmen actually. They had,
Right.
businesses
Well, there were some that were making furniture.
like yourself,
What?
like you. I
No,
mean, you sold furniture,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
but those were like not carpenters, but furniture makers.
Okay.
They would sell some of the furniture was sent to Israel, to Palestine at the time. Yeah,
Hmm.
they would make scarf, for storage, but basically in the bedroom. And most Jewish people would have them make the furniture for their home. It was made by Jewish carpenters with good solid wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What about the other Jewish people in Kenosha? Was there a kind of, how do you say it, fraternity? You know what's fraternity?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so there was some fraternity between the Jewish people in Kenosha. So I buy from you, you buy from me. I let you, earn money for your house. I mean, there was kind of, or people live like if they wanted, they went to a goyim store
Yeah.
or
Well, there was a furniture show in Chicago, where some Jewish people made connections. There you
Really?
could have a larger variety of furniture for the house. Yeah, but otherwise they dealt with the Jewish people, but the Goyim were the largest percentage
Of what?
of customers.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
Most of them were
Non-Jews.
non-Jews.
Yeah. And that was the way I would conduct the service. Women would come in like you just came. And we didn't talk. We didn't talk business. They wanted to know my background, everything, the history of the Jewish people before
Oh, really?
before the war, and I would get Jewish newspapers like the Forwards.
Forward.
Uh,
If I ask you if there is something you could have done differently in your life, what would you say? I mean, try to imagine your life. What would you, if at all, what would you change it about it?
I couldn't have changed much because I was a teenager when the war
Then,
broke out.
yes.
I was part of the family. I couldn't just move out and go and live somewhere else. Everything was done locally and among the Jewish organizations,
Uh-huh.
the Zionist organizations, and the religious organizations were Jewish. They had every Zionist organization in Romanov, including the Shomer Hatzair
Yes.
and all the others.
And later,
Yeah.
after you left Rimanov, and when you were older, if you think now, as a grown man, looking backwards, can you think about something that you could have done differently?
See, we left Romanov early in life.
You were 15, around 14, 15, right?
I was 10 years old when the war,
Broke up.
when the Germans invaded.
Yeah, Poland. Yeah. And then you were in Siberia, and then you were in Kazakhstan.
Before that, we left for the Russian occupied
Yes.
Poland.
Right. And then to Siberia. Right?
And then the Russian soldiers made us pack up and go to Siberia.
Right.
And they were very, very polite and very nice. Like my father usually was taking a little extra time. And the way he was told, you have to get ready to go and get ready. The bus is waiting to take you to the train. And no delays. But everything was done cordially. And once they picked us up, took us to the railroad station, and we had a 4-week journey to Siberia.
And then to Kazakhstan. After Siberia,
It was Kazakhstan.
it was Kazakhstan. And then after the war, there was some other camps in Austria, right?
Well, these were not so much camps. Austrian camps were created by the American Jewish government with the support of the American government. And they were taken over from the Austrians or Germans from before the war, and they became Jewish property.
What became the Jewish property?
These were government buildings that belonged to the German and the Austrian government.
Maybe you mean it became American property?
Yeah,
American property. Okay.
American property. But the Americans made it into very Jewish, you know. Because,
You were very dynamic in
Yeah.
your family, right?
yeah,
You were the one who took the responsibility to provide your family with, food,
right.
vouchers, everything. And I want to ask you if now, when you're thinking about this time, okay, those days, is there anything you can think about that you would have done differently?
Not really.
Not really.
No, my brothers were involved, but not on top of it. I was, I would go and negotiate the terms,
For what?
what they wanted to buy, and how they want to pay.
Your brothers? You mean about your
No,
brother?
with the stores that were not Jewish. There were a lot of departments. I don't know if you, there's a Meinl, they call it Meinl. It was a chain
Ah, okay.
of stores
Okay.
all over Austria.
Austria?
Yeah, you know, and they would have managers and salespeople trained, school trained. And that one was done on a very in a nice way. It was nice and clean and pleasant, and I would make appointments with the managers and tell them, I have a chance to get this or that, and they would tell me, just go ahead and get it. They would allow me to store it in their stores. They also used to be, I would get sugar. I had to bring in from Salzburg,
Yeah.
from the largest Jewish suppliers. They were getting it direct from Luxembourg, from Europe. Yeah. And they would let me warehouse it in their stores. All I had to do is send him a note. He wants to pick up 100 kilo, 200 kilo, you know.
Yeah.
And they were friendly. Yeah, very much. A lot of times they wanted to talk to me personally about my life in general and the family. They became like family friends.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. But even when things got into the paper and they made me sound like I was in charge of bringing in sugar, the sugar king, they called me.
Mm.
So some of the policemen would see me in the store. And they say, man, how was business?
Really? So what you're saying is that you think that, if in any way, of course, just to imagine, of course, you were in the same place, position, you would have reacted the same. You will do things the same you did in the past.
Sure,
Same.
because even before we left for the United States,
Uh-huh.
we had a party. It was New Year's Eve, and they were all CIA agents. Yeah, and we was
Why? Why CIA's agent?
well, they happened to be in charge of
Okay.
of the area,
Okay.
and I would tell them I have an uncle in Mamaroneck, I have another uncle here, and they try to explain how, everything made it sound very, the, everything was presented without negativity. There was nothing negative. And most of my relatives went to America without an education. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the automobile agent. He never went to private school in Poland. But somehow he picked up. He could travel all over New York, in Miami.
And he spoke the language, of course.
Yeah.
And you did also. You spoke
Well,
English
I learned.
after you learned in the
I
camp.
learned English. Yeah. I learned the English. I had a Jewish woman from England
Who taught you?
that
Yeah.
was part of the teachers, and
And it was very helpful to you
yeah,
at that time and even later.
sure, because she would say, "So what's new? Did you go to see a movie? What did you see?" And I would try to explain the movie, And but even my uncle, one of my uncles, I would used to write Yiddish letters to them,
Mhm.
to him, and I said, "It looks like we are ready to get on the ship
And come to the States.
and come to the States. My letter is going to be this time in English because I'm taking
But he knew to read in English?
the
He knew how to read English? Your
Yeah,
uncle, he
yeah.
knew?
Yeah, I learned English. I tried to
No. Okay.
get better on the English. And he said, I received your letter, but if you wrote this letter yourself, you know better English than I do.
You probably have good ear for languages.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because my job was like the teacher would say, are you going to see a movie this week? Are you going to a play? If you do, you come back, you'll explain to me the, the story. So we had a chance to learn.
Yes.
No,
And it was very helpful
yeah,
afterwards.
right. But they treated us very nicely.
Who?
The Austrians, because we lived in Austria.
Yeah.
And the people that lived in Germany, which is close by, they were treated even better, because in Germany you were able to open up Jewish stores after the war.
In Germany?
Yeah, you could be an owner.
Okay.
You could, if you had enough money, you can buy the inventory.
But how did you earn enough money to open a store? I mean, we are talking about after the war, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But you had money, you have to have money.
You could make money. Black market was available, where you could get contact with certain individuals, which you could wind up making some money, extra money. Yeah.
Okay. So actually, people made enough money in Austria so they could open, businesses.
No, they were not allowed to have their own business.
But after the war, after the war, they were not
No,
allowed.
no.
Not allowed.
In Austria, you had to.
But in Germany, yes.
Yeah.
Not in Austria.
No.
Oh,
Austria,
okay. Okay.
you had to go to school and graduate like a
Mm.
dentist or
Oh,
a doctor,
okay.
and to get.
But if you wanted to be, a merchant or a businessman, you couldn't.
Businessmen, you have to graduate in the
Oh,
business school
oh.
in Austria.
But if you wanted to open a furniture store,
No,
for instance,
you couldn't do
you
it
couldn't. Oh,
because you were a refugee.
okay. You couldn't because you were a refugee.
Yeah, because you were considered not steady.
Citizen, oh, okay.
Yeah, you had to be. No, they told you have to have a graduation, just like a dentist or a doctor, to be a businessman.
Are there were many Jewish people after the war who stayed in Austria or in Germany after the war?
In Germany, they were able to buy property.
So many Jewish people stayed in Germany after
Some
the
of
war.
them did.
What did you think? What did you think? What do you think about it? That
Well,
after the war, after they suffered so much from.
I went back there, after the war, and I talked to some of the business,
Okay.
the people that got involved in individual businesses. They felt that the government was friendly to the Jewish people and allowed them to do it. So they were grateful. The Germans tried to make up to the Jewish refugees and make life easier as far as making a living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you you think it's okay? In your eyes, in your opinion, you think it's okay that they stayed there or made a living in Germany?
Yeah.
You think it's okay?
Well,
What do you think about it?
it was important for the Jewish people to survive. If you want to survive and they treat you like a human being
Mm-hmm.
and they're friendly and everything else. And the same goes with the customers. If they came to you to buy because they knew you were Jewish, because it gave Jewish names on
Yes.
the stores.
Uh-huh.
They wanted to do business with you. A lot of them felt that if you're Jewish, they can make him a better deal. Yeah, you can negotiate a little more.
So if I'm saying that your motto in life is to do anything to survive,
Yeah,
it will be true?
yeah. Basically,
Basically, what do you mean?
unless you knew the criminal record against Jewish people, that would be no, that wouldn't work. But the majority were okay. Yeah, the majority acted friendly, and it was okay. And they treated you not as a refugees. They treated you as a human being. Yeah. And you went in and you offered merchandise. You were a representative of a big company to supply it, you know. And you worked in connection with the big companies.
So actually, they succeeded to make a living.
Yeah. if you succeed to make a living and you're treated humanely, you couldn't pinpoint that some of these people were against Jewish people during the war or whatever the case may be.
Because I'm trying to think, after the war, there probably were many German people who were, who supported the Nazis,
Sure.
government,
Yeah,
and they still were in Germany,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then Jewish people opened businesses and probably also made businesses with those
Sure.
people. What do you think about it?
Well, if they were working for the government, you couldn't accuse them, because even later on in Austria, you had the same thing. They they worked together, but it was all on a friendly basis. Yeah. And if you had a problem, you went into the police station, you talked about it, and they okayed whatever the case may have been.
What about forgiveness? I mean, what do you think about forgiveness?
You had no proof to forgive somebody you don't know for what.
I mean,
These were not all criminals,
okay.
Just because they were Austrians or Germans, it doesn't mean they were concentration survivors. No. You try to get it out of your way. You try to
Keep going.
In Poland too. In Poland, you try to make friends if you could.
What do you think today about Germany and Poland? What do you think about,
See, I know Israel is doing a lot of business with Germany,
right?
and Germany is very helpful to Israel with a lot of things,
Yeah.
with shipping problems,
Military.
military. See? But that's nature of the the way things are. It's, if they were Nazis, if they were, it's not that everybody that worked for the German government was a bad Nazi against somebody else. They are just normal people like everybody else. And unless you can prove, that they were involved in doing harm to Jewish people, then they were treated okay.
So if I'm saying, I don't know if the word is right, but if you can say that, are you a forgiver? Can I say forgiver?
Yeah.
It's the right word.
Yeah.
Are you a forgiver? Are you a forgiver?
What?
Are you?
Yeah.
Many. Are you a forgiver?
You talk to the people, and if you see a friendship return to you, you accept it.
Okay.
Because we realize that under Hitler, they had to follow the Nazi regime if that's what they had to do. But die Welt steht nicht auf einem Platz. You know what that means? The world doesn't sit
in the same place.
Things change with
What do you mean? That's what? What do you mean by that?
that people, if they act friendly towards you, you, unless you have proof that they did something to harm some Jewish people, then you accept their friendship. Because there's a lot of people in the war, during the war, that if you were picky, you would have a hard time, picking good Germans or good Austrians. You just hope for the best. They don't always have to be nice people, but as a rule, if you're in business with them, they try to be good business people. Yeah. They try to gain by being friends and help Jewish people. Yeah.
So actually, there is no hatred in your heart to anyone.
No,
hatred.
because the people that are around, they are free, and the business people or important jobs, you don't have a good case against them. They lived through the war. They had to follow the
Orders?
And if you try to find something good that they did, but that's life. The world goes on.
Yeah. Actually, you are looking at the good side of people,
Yeah,
not the bad one.
no, because the bad ones, you're gonna not enjoy life for the rest of your life.
And you never got hurt because of it? Because of this attitude
No,
towards people?
no. Unless we knew that he was a cooperator with the Nazis or did something harmful.
You don't remember any incident in Wisconsin, in your business, in your private life? Do you remember any incident that people hurt you, insulted you, did something bad to you? Do you remember any incidents
No,
of that kind?
no. You try not to. You try to think of all the positive rather than the negative, because it wasn't a perfect world in the Nazi regime
Yeah.
or the Polish regime, whatever, because people will try to better themselves personally. If they can get a job working for the Polish government that is friendly with the Jews or not so friendly, they want to make friends for their benefit.
So you think that people in their basics are good,
Yeah, basically.
basically,
Yeah,
are good.
sure. Because we went back there after the war and talked to the Germans. The language is the same as Yiddish, and you you don't look to find why they're involved in persecuting some Jewish people.
They also wanted to make a living and survive,
Right.
as you,
Well,
as most of us.
but that's what you have to do. You try to make a living, and you try not to do anything that will harm the Jewish people or anti-American.
Okay, great. Drink a little bit, maybe. Huh?
I keep saying, es ist eine Welt mit kleinen Welterlach.
Yeah.
The world is not 100% perfect. Yeah. And you have to live in a world like this.
And how do you do it?
Well,
And how do you do it?
well, you do the best you can. You do the best you can. But if you're going to look for a perfect German or for
You
a
won't
person,
You will never find.
es ist auf jene Welt. You know what jene Welt means?
Jene Welt? Welt I know. What is a Jene Welt?
That world, that kind of world.
Ah, okay.
You're not going to find it. You're not going to try to look. So you do the best you can. People go today to Germany.
Yeah.
From Israel.
Yeah, right. People who even people who experience the war.
Yeah.
That go to Germany. Yeah.
Well, the war was in general for Jewish people or non-Jewish people. Everybody. Some people gained some, and some didn't. But life with bitterness and hateful doesn't help anybody.
Mm-hmm.
If you came out alive, you want to start a new life, you do the best you can. I get some from the Polish people, like for the different holidays. They send,
Really?
yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
They send wishes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Very interesting. It was for me. Okay, I start the recording. This one. That one. That's it. Okay, we will stop here. I'll be here next Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
I usually come on Mondays, but I will come next week on Tuesday.
Okay.
And then I won't be here for 2 weeks. I'm going to Rome.
See?
Yeah, to Italy for a vacation.
That's it.
So, and then I come again.
I hope you enjoy your vacation.
I probably will.
You will.
Yeah, I probably will.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay. You know what they say about Yom Kippur?
Yeah.
Okay.
Forgiving.
Yes. Yes.
Day of forgiveness.
It's Gmar Chatima Tova.
Yeah.
You know that,
Yeah.
right? That we wish you that God will write you in the good side of the book.
Side.
Yes.
You wish everybody a good year.
Yeah. Yes. The Yom Kippur on tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's the evening of Yom Kippur. This is the holiest day of the year for the Jews.
Yeah.
The holiest.
In Philippines also they have like that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow. Really?
The day of
I
forgiveness.
tried to talk
Yes.
religion to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about
What? She's learning.
what?
She's learning. Yeah. So and we're fasting. Not all of us who choose to.
Yeah.
Not all of us. But most of the people are fasting.
In the Philippines, they have also fasting every Good Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. The died of Jesus Christ. That's we.
You stopped
celebrate.
it? I know. I'm not sure you stopped it.
Yeah.
Okay. What does it say?
You have to go use the washroom.
What is it, midwife? I don't have my glasses. But...
Take a minute.
What is it?
all right.
Yeah. Countdown to goodness. We're going to do the update. You scheduled to live was late, Mr. Take it time. Oh, what is it? Okay.